Is sublimation the right choice for you? As beginners, we hear about sublimation, we're like, this is it. This is everything that I've been looking for. But then you realize that sublimation has a dark hidden secret, and it's not for everybody. So today, I'm going to break down the pros, the cons, and we'll be asking the hard-hitting questions. Is sublimation right for you? Before we go, make sure you're subscribed, turn on the notification bell. You don't want to miss any future masterclasses or the tips and tricks I sprinkle in throughout the week. Before we hit any of the hard-hitting questions, you have to understand what sublimation is first before you can ever understand how it works or if it's going to benefit you. Sublimation is a gas that turns into a solid without the liquidization. I know neither one of us are scientists, and I don't even know if I said that right. So sublimation is basically an ink that you can print out of a specialized printer onto specialized paper and use pressure and heat to get beautiful and gorgeous designs. Now, the kicker is you can only use sublimation material, and we'll talk about that later. Furthermore, there is a sublimation equation, so I like to call it. That is time, temperature, pressure, heat, and ink. All of those things mixed together and create beautiful and gorgeous projects. And people do make six-figure businesses out of sublimation each and every year. I'm sure you've seen things on the internet like apparel, drinkware, magnets, customized pillowcases, and even wall photos. The possibilities are getting to the point where they're basically endless, but some items are not ideal for sublimation compared to others. So there are three main questions that we should be asking ourselves before we invest into sublimation. Number one, what type of materials would you like to create? You need to get very clear about where you would like to start before you can master all of the options. Number two, what is your budget for investment? Although sublimation is a lower cost investment in the initial, it is still a little bit of an investment. So you have to keep in mind purchasing the cheapest products are not always going to be the best option. Number three, do you have a clientele base in mind? Or are you doing the research to make sure that you can break into the new market? Sublimation is very popular, and there's a lot of people already doing the same thing. So the best thing you can do is be very clear of what it is that you are trying to achieve and why your unique products are going to sell off of the shelves. Don't get overwhelmed. I'm going to go into detail on each key point just a little bit further. So the first one is figuring it out what it is that you would like to offer. There are so many things that you can offer, and there's a lot of different suppliers that offer a bunch of different unique materials. With that being said, if you chose apparel, there's a couple additional questions that we need to talk about. Apparel does work for sublimation. However, sublimation only adheres to polyester bases or a polyester coating. So that means that your shirt has to be at least 65% polyester, and I'd even take a step back and say it should probably be a bit more. My own customers have told me that they don't like the way that sublimation fades out. So if you're looking for 100% polyester, so nothing fades, it's a little bit hard. And to be honest with you, those types of apparels are itchy and usually not very comfortable. The last thing you want is to be giving out a shirt that somebody is not going to enjoy wearing. Secondly, sublimation does not have white toner. So if you thought, I want to do dark apparel, my customers always ask for black and gray, or even dark red, sublimation's kind of out the door for you. Because there's no white toner, there is no white base. This means that whatever shirt or piece of apparel that you are applying your designs onto is the base color. So if you put a graphic on a black t-shirt, of course it's not going to show up, even if it's polyester. There are some hacks out there, but I will be very transparent. Hacks are not cost effective nor time effective if you are trying to sell and scale a business. So if you're thinking about apparel, please keep that in mind. Now, for those of you who are thinking about drinkware or keychains or basically any other option aside from apparel, sublimation is probably perfect for you, as long as you can find the blanks. Like I said, sublimation only adheres to polyester fibers. So you may be thinking, well, of course, a stainless steel tumbler is not polyester. I know, but somebody somewhere along the way got super creative and they put a poly coating base around them, which is why most sublimation blanks are white. So when you go out and you start searching for suppliers, wholesalers, or any type of blanks, even on Amazon, make sure that they have the polyester coating. Okay, I know that was a lot to say this. If you were looking to work with any type of fibers, I would probably shy away from sublimation. If you're working for anything else that is not a fiber and actually a hard surface, sublimation, I'll give you a green light on. Question number 2 is the cost breakdown. As I said with sublimation, it is one of the lower investing when it comes to the wide variety of ways that you can get into printing. However, there still is a cost investment jumping into the market. So let's say that we broke it all down. That way you know exactly what you were looking for. And I'm going to just base these off of the products that I personally have because I can't speak for anything else. But I will say, please do your own research and figure out which products may be best for you. The first investment you'll have is your printer, of course, and you can purchase a sublimation printer or a converted office printer. I personally work with a converted printer, the Epson 2720, and looking at Amazon, they're anywhere between $199 to $279. Then you will have the cost of your ink, which is anywhere between $25 to $30, depending where you get it and if there's any good sales going on, because there's always a good sale going on. Next, you'll have your sublimation paper, which is anywhere between $16 to $25. Same thing, there's a lot of variations. I prefer to use A-Sub, but I've also used a lot of other brands. I don't think there's a big difference between the papers, so take full advantage of any sale that you come across. The last and probably the biggest investment that you're going to have in the sublimation is your heat press. So if you're working with apparel, you will need a flat press, a pull-down press, an automatic press. I work with the Trans Pro, which retail is about $479. If you're investing into tumblers or drinkware, those are anywhere between $100 to $250. And then there's sublimation ovens for things like straws and tumblers and different weird items that don't fit in a round cylinder. With all of those things considered, your investment could be anywhere between $700 to $1,000, really depending on what you go with. When it comes to the investment, please don't go the cheapest route. If I could just give you 1 minute of personal information, it could save you a huge headache. So I thought that I was going the cheapest route. I got the cheapest heat press and some of the cheapest blanks. Quickly, I realized that the cheap blanks don't work and they turn out really low quality. Secondly, my heat press almost caught my house on fire. So I'm sure you've been on Amazon and you see those heat presses that have a million attachments and they're only like $100 and you're like, this is the best thing I've come across. There's no way. Well, it's actually a little too good to be true, at least in my experience. See, I invested in a low quality heat press, like the ones on Amazon, and had all of the attachments, and I thought, this is it for me. Scary part is the fuses continued to blow, and I almost caught my house on fire because the wiring is very cheap in those. Additionally, they don't last as long, and they cause a lot of problems with ghosting and inconsistencies. So not did I do that one time, I did that twice because apparently I don't learn the first time. And I got another cheap press. And lo and behold, after 6 months, it did the same exact thing. And at that point, I decided it's probably best if I'm really going to get serious to invest in the higher quality press. So at that point, had I just invested in the higher quality press to begin with, I would have been saving money. But instead, I spent almost $1,000 on heat presses because I was too stubborn to just bite it at once and do what I needed to do in the beginning. So if I can give you any recommendation, please go with the quality products and not the cheapest. Additionally, you've heard me mention blanks in here a couple times. You can find a lot of suppliers, whether it's wholesale or smaller individual items. But I would say starting out, put aside about $100 to $200 to make sure that you can get some blanks under your belt. If you're just practicing and not sure which avenue you would like to go, Amazon is a great place to find an array of different blanks all in one bundle or 4 or 5 packs where you're not investing into all of this equipment and then realizing maybe I don't even like creating those. So definitely check out your options. And for everything that I've said today, please check out your options. Do your research, watch other creators, watch my past videos, anything to just gain as much knowledge for you. See, I can only tell you from my point of view and the things that I've learned over my time and experience. I've given you so much information, so let's do a generalized recap. If you are looking for apparel and you're thinking that you would like to work with dark materials or heavy cotton blends, please don't invest into sublimation. It's not going to be very friendly to you, and you're actually going to waste so much money and have a huge headache doing that. I personally would recommend using DTF transfers. They're going to be your best friend. They're very cost effective, and I cover all of those every other week. So make sure you're subscribed and go check out that playlist because that is going to get you started. But if you're a creator doing anything else and you're thinking sublimation is exactly what I need, welcome. I have playlists on 3 different platforms just for you. We cover so many topics when it comes to sublimation, and anything you might have questions on or you're like, I don't know where to find the answers, leave your comment down below. Every other week we focus on sublimation. So I can cater to videos and tutorials just for you. Sublimation is super trendy right now, but it doesn't mean that you can't dip your toes into the action. So I encourage you to do as much research as possible, find the best pieces of equipment and the best avenues for you, and then make the leap. Because I'm telling you, it could be the thing that changes your life. I hope this video gave you more insight into the world of sublimation and if it is the right choice for you. It's great for a lot of people and it's not great for a lot of other people, and there's so many mixed reviews out there. So before I cut you loose for today, I would just like to say that my name is Kaylee, and I'm very thankful that you've spent the afternoon with me here and just learned about sublimation. I am a content coach, and I have been for about 4 years now. We focus on anything from sublimation to DTFs, and every other week we dive into full topics so that you can succeed in this business. Additionally, every Sunday we host a podcast called Beyond the Prints, where we take a step behind the curtain and give you more detail as to what it actually looks like in this world. And lastly, before you click out of here, make sure you hit subscribe and turn on your notification bell. I will see you next week.